Howdy friends, my name is Abby. Welcome to Type 9 Studio, where I help you start and grow your Etsy shop. And I've been a full-time seller on Etsy for over a year and a half. Starting off this video with some really exciting news, because the rest of it's going to be kind of panicky. But last night I hit 2,000 sales on my Etsy shop. I'll put a screenshot up here. It was around 11 p.m. last night and I was like so close. I was like at 1,997 for a while, and then I made 2 more sales, got to 1,999, and I was like, if it was today, it would be amazing. And then it happened at like 11 something. So I want to do something special for like my business, Instagram and TikTok and stuff, but I am scrambling. I wanted to vlog this process and it took me a while to figure out if I was going to actually do this. So as you can see from the title, I am getting ready for an event. It's not necessarily a craft show, it's a veg fest, but I feel like craft show is kind of more like what you'd be interested in, but basically it's a place where I'm selling my handmade things. And today is Thursday, September 16th, and the event is Sunday the 19th. And about less than a week ago, I had nothing made because I had everything in my shop made to order for a while because orders were slow. And I wanted to focus on other things like this channel and stuff, so I just made everything to order, which is actually not the most efficient way to make things. I learned that the hard way. So I was supposed to have 2 events. I was supposed to have this one that's coming up in a few days, and then I was supposed to have one at the end of October, and that one was going to be indoors, and that one actually got postponed to next year. But as of now, the one on Sunday is still going. It is outside, and I kind of thought that this one was inside at first as well, because like ignoring the panini press, you know, I would have preferred to do an indoor shows because I didn't have to deal with a tent and like the wind and stuff and potentially raining, which ruined my last event that I did, but it worked out fine. So I have been busy making stuff. I did some time lapses yesterday that I'll insert sometime in this video, and then today I am scrambling to finish making a few categories of products, and then I have a few more to make tomorrow. And I'm also kind of trying to fit in like the logistical stuff, getting stuff ready. So I did not have sandbags. A few times that we went, I didn't want to like invest in sandbags yet. So we brought like kettlebells and like tied the tent down with that. And I just got these new sandbags that I need to get sand for those. And then I got sidewalls for the tent because I didn't have any of those before either, and that was would have been helpful at the last one because my stuff wouldn't have gotten wet when it rained. So I got the sidewalls, and they're like hanging over the banisters around our stairs. I started to iron one, but it was taking forever, and I was like, what if I just hang these over the banisters? Maybe the wrinkles will fall out. Hasn't happened, so those are gonna need to be ironed. I did try steaming them, but they are basically like nylon shower curtain material, so the steaming them just made them like wet, so it didn't help at all. I also need to redo my signage because I had chalkboard things that I used chalk markers on, and some of those got wet at the last one and I never fixed them. So they are obviously ruined, like the wording is not perfect anymore, so I'm gonna have to redo those. I ordered a new banner and some new business cards and postcards like last minute, and they came pretty early. They were supposed to be here by like tomorrow, but they came like several days ago, which is nice. I'll go ahead and show you those. So I had a banner that was like a purple background like my logo, and it was so big. I got like an 8 foot by, it's either 8 foot by 3 foot or 6 by 3, something like that. It was really big, and my logo wasn't in a vector, and I didn't really understand the importance of that. And it came, even like the text that I put on it came out blurry, so I just made a new one. Well, I made a smaller one because I thought it was going to be indoors, and I have this grid wall thing that's I think 3 feet wide, or no, it's 2 feet wide. And I made a banner to go on the top of that because I wasn't going to have anything to hang a banner on if it was indoors. So I went ahead, made a smaller one, and I figured out how to convert my logo into a vector, and that worked a lot better. Like, it's really clear. And I will have one of the sidewalls behind me, which was kind of a pain. at other events because people weren't like looking at my products, like their view kind of was going past. So I think that's important to have like a backdrop or a side wall like behind your booth, especially if you're in one of those where there's multiple rows. I don't know how this one's going to be set up though. I've used Vistaprint for almost everything else, like business card wise, and they always do pretty good. Some of them, like this batch was okay, but some, like one of the boxes was kind of crooked, but it wasn't too noticeable. So I went with the square ones to be a little bit different to my old ones. And I put a bit more information and updated, like my old ones had my Facebook on it still, and I do not use Facebook. But I decided to put a QR code because that's going to be easier for people to just scan and click instead of having to like type it in, because Cruelty-Free can be kind of hard to spell sometimes. And my dad made me a year ago, like right before I started doing shows, he made me some wooden display risers. They're basically just like 3 pieces of wood and they kind of stack on top of each other like a stair step. He made them, and then like we both didn't have time to sand them, so they were kind of rough. And then I just got my brother yesterday to sand them for me, and they look much better. I'm not gonna have time to paint them or stain them or anything, but I think they look nice just with the unfinished wood. So today the agenda is to finish these scrunchies that I've started and make as many masks as I can. I also have a few orders that need to go out tomorrow. And then any orders that come in today or tomorrow or over the weekend can go out Monday or Tuesday. And I need to make more unpaper towels and cotton rounds tomorrow. I'll try to do that today if I get to it, but masks are probably going to take a while because I'm going to try to bring as many of those as I can. I'm probably bringing too many scrunchies, honestly. I think I planned out like 150, but I might try to do like a 2 for something deal. But I'm like over halfway done with the scrunchies. I've got them all, like the tube made, and I've got elastic in a good portion of them. I just need to finish putting the elastic in and then sewing up the edge. I'm just gonna be glad when this is over because like I want to get it over with and like make the money from it and stuff, and I'm like sewing 8 to 10 hours a day for the past several days. So I've been like sleeping with a wrist brace because last time I had a show that I was like really panicked and preparing for. I got carpal tunnel and like I didn't notice it until I have one of those letter board things where you put the letter pieces on, and I couldn't pick up the letter pieces to put them on there. I had to use my left hand. So I'm trying to not let that happen this time and sleep in the wrist brace. I can't really use it while I'm sewing, but I wear it as much as possible when I'm not sewing so that doesn't happen. So it's been about a week since I last filmed a segment for this video, and I just got so incredibly busy. I spent probably 12 hours a day that week getting ready for the event because I was panicking. I started with virtually no products, and I came with a decent table full. I'll insert some pictures as I go here. I brought 2 pretty large plastic storage bins, kind of full, like I would say 75% full, and came back with one that was about 90% full. So this event was so amazing. It was really well put together. They had volunteers that came around and helped set up. Like my mom and brother came and helped me, but they were in a different car and they came like a few minutes after I did. And by the time they got there, the volunteers already had my car unloaded and were like setting up my tent for me and everything, which was amazing. And they came around like in the middle of the show a few times, asked if I need anything and like collected any garbage. And they asked me if they wanted somebody to like watch my booth while I went and got something to eat if I wanted to. So that was fantastic. And it was in a public place, so before I was even set up, there were people like kind of walking around and looking, and I was trying to like be open and like let them buy things, even though the event hadn't really started yet. Nobody bought anything like until it had actually started though, so I was like kind of like, should I get my money out or should I like get my square thing ready? The actual event went really, really well. I made about 10 times the booth fee, which is amazing. Like, if at bare minimum you want to make your booth fee back, but I made like 10 times, maybe a little more, so That's great. I think the key that I found, I'm not really like a salesperson. Like, I'm not talking to people and like getting them to buy things, or like grabbing people from walking, you know, along the lane there and like asking them if they want to come try stuff. Like, I can't do that. But it really, really helped that this event was my target market, and or most people at the event were my target market, I should say, not every single person. I've done a few craft show type things and like farmers markets before, and the vast majority of people who would like stop and look at things were not, like, did not know what the stuff was or what it was for. I would have to like explain everything, and they were still like, but almost everybody that stopped at my booth knew what the stuff was and was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. Even if they didn't buy anything, they were just like, hey, this is really cool. Thanks for doing, you know, what you're doing. I think that alone was the key. And also everything this time was really cohesive, because the past few, like if I did a really big event, I would bring some of my old like crochet stuff. And I feel like that was a mistake, because that was kind of confusing to people. They're like, what are you doing? Like, you have crochet and then you have like your reusable stuff. That doesn't make any sense. I am very grateful that I went ahead and ordered sandbags, even though I know this is the last event that I'm going to do probably before I move later, like early next year. But the sandbags were incredibly helpful because it was really windy and the tent was going to be blown away if I didn't have those, because everybody else who didn't have sandbags, their tent was blown away. And I'm glad that I ordered sidewalls. I only ended up using one of the sidewalls because the sun was coming like from one certain direction the whole day. Does what the sun does, but I just put it up on that one side, like kind of halfway down, and it worked perfectly fine. And was it halfway, or was it, I think it was all the way down, because I was up. The place was really oddly like perfectly set up to have events like this, because it was in like a city square, and there was like a raised area kind of in the middle of the square with like trees and picnic tables and stuff, or like places where people could sit. And in front, or like around that, there were like triangles kind of like sticking out of the raised part, and the triangles were like perfectly the size of like a 10 by 10 tent. So I was like back up against one of those, and it was awesome. It was just kind of weird because I had to work with, usually your tent is like, you know, they're all parallel to each other, but they were kind of like diagonal at this one, so it was a little bit weird to set up that way. But I think it was pretty helpful. And I had 2 catastrophes. I brought some decoration to sit around the table, like vases with flowers, like some of the ones that I had up there. And I brought some skulls because I brought my Halloween non-paper towels, so I put like a couple skulls next to those for like Halloween, you know. And I thought these skulls were plastic. They were not, so be careful of that if you bring any decorations. Like, maybe make sure they're plastic, because one of those got smashed, and my letterboard thing got knocked over with the wind, and it was next to a vase with flowers that used to be up there, and it fell over and then survived. And then I took the flowers out, put it down on the table, and then the wind came and just knocked the thing over by itself, and it went everywhere. So, or either have, like, if you do that, bring, like, put sand or something in the bottom of it, or get the double-sided tape to like stick it down to the table. And then something else too, I have a tablet that's older. I got it like when I got my last cell phone, so like 4 years ago, I think, maybe 5. So it's pretty old and it won't update anymore. It's like an old Android tablet. And that's what I usually use to run my Square Reader. I'll just turn my hotspot on my phone and then connect that to the Wi-Fi, and then run my Square Reader off of that so that my phone battery doesn't die and I can still take pictures and stuff. And that just totally did not work. Like, it was just, the Square app wouldn't even open. It wouldn't stay turned on. I don't know what the heck was going on, so I ended up having to use my phone the whole time, which wasn't a big deal, but it would have been a lot easier if I could just use that. So that tablet is probably going to recycling because, like, it won't update. I can't download any apps or anything. It's just done. And I have a pretty small car, and I was able to fit everything into my car, and usually I had to borrow my stepdad's SUV, but everything fit this time. I condensed my setup. I used to bring, did I mention this earlier in the video? I don't know if I did, but I had this 3-drawer Rubbermaid thing that I used to bring, and I didn't really use it that much, so I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't bring it this time. I think that was what was the key to having enough room for everything. And especially not having the crochet stuff, because that was also another box or 2 of product that I didn't really need. So I think all in all, I definitely brought enough inventory. I didn't anywhere near sell out. Like I said, I still had a whole box full. There are definitely some specific things I could have brought more of. Like I sold all of my non-paper towels with bees on them, and then I sold most of the Halloween ones that I brought. And then I sold all the solid color ones. That's what I sold, I think, the most of was the non-paper towels. And I sold a few scrunchies, but I made like 150 and I didn't sell anywhere near that. So I just think it kind of depends. You want to bring like a good mix of price ranges. So the scrunchies were the cheapest thing I had, and then the non-paper towels were actually the most expensive thing I had, and I sold a lot of those. I thought that I would sell a lot more of my reusable spork pouches, but I sold like less than 10 of them, I think, and I brought 50 or so. But the good news with all of that is I spent all that time making the stuff, and I wanted to have inventory to carry me through on Etsy for like the holidays, and now I'll have all of that available on Etsy to just ship out orders instead of having to make things as I go like I've been doing for the past several months. So all in all, I'm really excited with how that went, and I'm sad that it was my only event this year, but like I said, I'm glad that the other one that I had planned was canceled because it was indoors and just things aren't great here in Kentucky, and I'm sure the rest of the country as well. So we are moving, knock on wood, in like maybe January, February, somewhere around there, and I will definitely look into doing veg fests at this place because I'll be closer to more big cities that may have veg fest type things, and I can also travel and do them now that I know all my stuff will fit in my little car. I'm also going to get a different, did I show that as well, the grid wall thing? That does not fold in half, and it barely, like if it was an inch longer, it would not have fit. I fit it next to the doors, between the seat and the door. That was a mess. So if it would fold in half somehow, that would be better. And maybe I could have a couple of them instead of just one if they folded in half. So I'll look into that. I might just sell that one or get rid of it so I don't have to worry about bringing it. I guess that is it. That's my update. I didn't have too much other like stuff to show because it was just chaos, and I was afraid if I spent too much time like trying to do this video, I wouldn't have time to make stuff. So that's that. If you have any questions about doing craft shows or anything, let me know in the comments. And if you've watched this whole thing and you haven't subscribed or clicked the like button yet, you might as well. I do new videos about Etsy and my small business every Wednesday and Saturday. For more Etsy and small business stuff, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Type9 Studio. I also have a Ko-Fi at Type9 Studio. I've got a blog coming up, and I also am doing shop reviews very, very soon. And I'm posting this on a Saturday, I think. I'm hoping to have my shop reviews ready by next week. So if you sign up for my email list at links.type9studio.com, if they're not already available yet, sign up for that. You'll also get a free printable of a checklist for new Etsy shops, and you'll be notified when all that stuff goes live, when my blog goes live, whenever that's finished. So that's it for me today. I will see you in the comments and in the next video. Goodbye.